All right. Good morning, Alta Realty Group agents. This is Kevin Lauren, the Director of Training and Marketing here. And today we're going to be going through Ticor's Tech Farm, which is a great farming tool. I know a lot of you guys, a lot of the people on the line do farming, so this is going to be a great deal for you guys. Also, just a really good product if you haven't done farming. And there's a lot of things that Eric and Adam will go through with us. Before I get too far into our presentation today, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Bill Seitz, our illustrious Clearview Mortgage rep. How you doing this morning, Bill?
Hey, good morning, Kevin.
All right, how are we?
Good.
All right.
Do I sound like I'm underwater, or am I clear this morning?
You're clear. You're not in Tron World.
Oh, yeah. It's nothing worse than Tron World.
I know.
And I like that word, illustrious.
Exactly. You're our guy. So again, we also want to just welcome some of the new recruits on the call today. I know we've got a few guys that haven't joined yet and are just kind of checking us out. So always welcome those people that join us on our Wednesday webinars. And one little housekeeping item. I believe it was on Monday. We send out every month. We'll send out a reminder about SkySlope. And so, of course, within 72 hours of getting a signed contract, we've got to have those deals put into our SkySlope system. And that way we can monitor them. Travis can keep track of everything, and we can maintain compliance. On that email that I send out, there is a direct contact with our rep with SkySlope. There's also, SkySlope has really good training. And so I prefer that you guys, I can show you a few things, but I prefer that you guys do the training with SkySlope themselves. They have awesome training. Let me just pull up the SkySlope website real quick. Again, all the links are in those emails that I send out. But SkySlope, when you're in here, all you have to do is go up to this handy dandy support tab, and they have great support, especially chat. If you want to get through this super quickly, use their chat feature, and that way you're going to get answers right away. So don't hesitate to use the SkySlope chat and use the SkySlope support feature. So that's just always something that we want to make sure that we're pounding out to our agents, because it's so important to maintain compliance, as you all know. So Bill, what's going on in mortgage land today?
Well, Kevin, I just want to spend just a minute or two just letting everyone know, typically we talk about the conventional financing and FHA and the VA financing, all the regular, ways that we can get loans for homes. But we do have a hard money option that we work with as a company here in Newport Beach called Capital Benefit. And they will partner with us on certain hard money deals. And a lot of times you'll have a situation, or maybe not a lot of times, but every once in a while, you have a client that for some reason or another, they just don't show the amount of income that they need, or maybe there's something on their credit history that's just not quite there, but they have a large down payment, maybe 25, 30% or more. We do have a short-term option in hard money. Well, what does hard money mean? Hard money is typically 9 to 10%, which sounds a bit outrageous, but when you break it down further, it actually works pretty well for short-term financing solutions. So what they'll do is, yes, maybe you're paying a quite a bit higher interest rate than that's in the traditional financing, scenarios that we're in right now. But what they'll do is they'll amortize it over 40 years and also let you pay interest only. So you're not going to have the principal portion tacked onto that. And they're usually a 2-year loan. So they'll give you 24 months of this financing. So it's really not meant for them to hold the note for more than that period. It's not meant for your client to, keep this note forever. But what it does, it allows them to potentially, get over a hurdle in the buying process, or there's a property they just absolutely want to, take down quickly. And we generally can close these in about 12 days. So in certain scenarios, it works really well. We did one about 3 weeks ago, and we did it out in the Coachella Valley. And it was pretty much that scenario. The income wasn't there. They couldn't qualify. They had a large down payment, credit was fine, and we closed it in 12 days. So
Wow.
just, just keep that in mind. If don't give up on a purchase if you feel like, there's something kind of in that equation that I just outlined, because there are scenarios, and, we can run the, run the property profile, run the payment situation for you or your clients, and let them know if that's something they want to move on,
Absolutely.
So I just kind of wanted to share that today, because a lot of times, even myself, I forget that that's something that we have available, and I don't think I've mentioned on the webinar to date, but it's a useful tool in the right situation.
Oh, absolutely. And again, it's just, coming up and having these solutions for our clients. That is how we build value. So that's a really good one, Bill. And it's just really good for us to, have these kind of outside of the box, solutions for our clients. And, they probably don't think about that kind of stuff. And that's our job.
No, 100%, Kevin. And I think, with that, it's just about having the experience, because, the longer you're in this business, the more experience you get, and the more ability you are to be nimble and find solutions and workarounds to, one, do more sales for yourself, and two, provide value to your clients.
Which leads to referrals.
Bingo.
Hey, I'm sensing the theme here. No, so, we've got a quick question from our pal Don Kearney. He's asking, will they do mobile home and land with this kind of loan?
Well, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Will they do mobile home and land?
They will not do mobile homes or land. That it's going to have to be real property with permanent foundations. Typical residential type financing.
That sounds
in that
correct
regard.
From a risk perspective.
Yeah, they don't like anything that you can pick up and haul away off the property. Even the financing, through manufactured homes, it's it's attached to a foundation on a piece of property, so you're not going to up and lift the thing off the property and take off.
Exactly.
So that's kind of the rule of thumb there.
All right. I hope that answers your question, Don. And now I would like to bring on, thank you, Bill. Always appreciate that. First, we're going to bring Travis on, our corporate broker, because Travis always has really good ideas and stuff, and Travis is not with us, so I'm not going to bring Travis on. So I will bring Eric on. So Eric, can you hear us, buddy?
Yes, I am here. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Eric. And I also want to bring on Adam Cleary, who's our he is the rep for Ticor Title. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing?
Fantastic. So what I'm going to do, Eric, is I'm going to stop sharing my screen. You can go ahead and share your screen. And while you're doing that, maybe Adam, you just give us a little, just give us a little overview of Ticor, what you guys do for us, and how you can help our agents.
Yeah, Ticor Title, we're one of the largest title companies here in Southern California. We're also servicing the rest of the nation for both refinances and resale. But we mainly focus in our office in Newport Beach, San Diego, Orange County, Los Angeles, Riverside, San Bernardino. And we've got a team of senior, very, very long veteran escrow and title officers on our team. And I think, Eric, last time I checked, I think we're 4th in the county. Is that right for market share?
Well, that was accurate as of a month ago, and we are currently number 3. So moving up.
So that's great. I mean, and mind you, we have First American, their HQs in our backyard, and
that's right.
So we're kicking butts and taking names. And I believe, Eric, what are we on the high end homes? Aren't we up there either number 1 or number 2?
As far as market share, or as far as
market share. Sorry, market share. Yeah.
Yeah, we're roughly about 11.5%. Yeah, we do a great deal in the high end stuff.
Yeah. So we've got some people that are inside that cater towards the agent's needs and obviously your client's needs. And Eric here is the sales manager for Ticor and is a pro at we have a whole myriad of apps and tools that help you guys as agents better yourselves and get you some more information of your market. And today, Eric is going to go over one of those apps. And if anyone has any interest on, well, one on going a little more in depth, because we're going to go kind of the 10,000 foot level right now. What this app can do, it can do a lot more. Please reach out to myself and Eric. And if you're interested in any other apps that we have, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to help. And we additionally have a customer service department that's here to help you as well. So we're here to help.
That's
and I'm going to give the floor to Eric.
Yeah, and Adam, what I'll do is, I always reproduce a replay of the webinar, and I send it out to all the agents. So I'll make sure I, of course, include all of your contact information and ways to get a hold of you guys.
I'd appreciate that, sir.
For sure. All right, Eric, well, show us what you got, my friend.
Well, good. First off, is everybody seeing my screen? It says Ticor Title Company, and then there's a list of various farms and track names. Everybody see
Correct.
that?
We are seeing it. Yes.
Good. So what I'm going to share with you today is what we call Ticor Tech Farm. And this has been a big reason for our growth over the last 3.5 years. It's proprietary software to Ticor and done in conjunction with a third-party vendor called New Homepage. And the whole purpose of Tech Farm is to make sure that our real estate professionals are the market expert and that we always put you in the right place at the right time. And I'll drill down a little bit more on what that means. So I'm already logged into my Ticor Tech Farm account. And what I've got here is a list of various farms. Ticor Tech Farm can hold up to 250,000 records, and those can be broken up in any way that you see fit, and we help you build those farms. You can obviously load anything that you've got as well. But typically an agent does these by track name, but you can also see here that this is EDDM. If you farm based on EDDM routes or carrier routes, you can also put in sphere of influence, which I've got here. And an interesting farm that I always point out as well is a year ago, February, I took all of the homeowners that were delinquent in their property taxes in Newport Beach, and I just started to track those in Tech Farm. And what it told me was I created the farm back in February of 2019, and it's got a turnover rate, which everybody is tracking now, of 11.25. And if you look at the turnover rates of any other farm that I've got in here, it's by far the highest performing. So I always bring that to people's attention because sometimes an agent will say, well, I don't farm a geographical farm, so this really doesn't have a purpose for me. And you just have to think outside the box. Whatever list, farm, or category that you've got, it can fit in here, and it can start to break your records down into some of the analysis that we'll go through. So I'm just going to go into the very first one because it's sitting at the top here, and this is First Impressions. That's a track name. And I'm going to click over here on the left, and I'm going to go to the stats page. This is really where we think the true value of Ticor Tech Farm is. And what it tells me again is I'm currently in my First Impressions farm. It reminds me of the turnover rate, 8.04%. When we started this, 3.5 to 4% turnover rate was an average farm, and that's now increased to 5%. If anybody follows Tom Ferry says don't touch anything below 7. So whatever your preference is, we can also run all tracks in a city and rank them by turnover rate. So if you're looking for a first-time farm, or if you're looking to expand, or if you're going into a new market, we can help you drill down various areas, tracks, and so forth that have a high turnover rate if that's what you're looking for. So my First Impressions farm has a turnover rate of 8.04%. Average stay in years. The average length that people live in this farm is 8.6 years, and I'll come back to why that's important. Average sales price, this looks like a condo complex, so it's $269,000. Number of records in this farm is 112 homeowner records. So it starts to break this down for me, and it says a recent buyer. So a recent buyer defined in this farm is somebody that took ownership within the last 90 days. And why that's important is if this was not a sale of yours and you're the local expert and you farm this particular area, this is a good chance for you to make an introduction and let people know that you're the local expert.
Absolutely. Love that, Eric.
So along with that is you would get an email notification that a record has changed hands. So you don't have to come into Tech Farm and hunt and look for this data or these changed records. We'll send you an email notification every time any one of these data points change. So if I move over to out of state and absentee, there's 35 records. Everybody knows what an absentee record is. Of those 35, 3 own a home in my farm, but they reside out of state. Agents really like that fact. They like to farm somebody who owns in their area but resides out of state, because that marketing pretty much writes itself. You know, I drive by your property every single day. I'm in the track. I know what's going on. When's the last time you saw the property? Would you like an analysis of the property? You know, are you in the right type of loan? Have you got equity built up? You know, let's look at some other opportunities for you. So that marketing opportunity starts to write itself right there. So if I continue absentee, owner occupied, these two should total 112 records. Over here on the far right is target farm. This is probably what you guys have all heard of over the last couple years. The term was likely sellers. We call it target farm. So there's 2 people who have been identified based on 36 different algorithms. And we can go into that at a later date. I don't want to take too much time going into that, but these are people who are most likely to sell or list in the next 12 to 24 months. Now, what's interesting is in the 3+ years that we've been doing this, we're 55% accurate. So in other words, we go back and look at this data a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, and we look to see if this number's been accurate and if they've listed and if they've sold. We're 55% on with that record. So this is an area where agents are spending a lot of their time and their resources on the target farm. This is a very small farm, so these numbers are low, but it's a good example. So that's your target farm. Anybody who's most likely to list in the next 12 to 24 months. Now, what's interesting down here, some of the analysis that I get, the average sales price of people living here 8.5 years has been just under $270,000. But look at the sales price of these recent buyers. They're spending now $372,000. So you get some analysis in here, not only on historical data, but what's happening currently as well. Your out-of-state owners spent about $330,000 on average. So you've got a lot of analytics in here. Again, like I said, the number one thing is we want to make sure that you are the market expert. If I continue down here to new homeowner, a new homeowner is different than a recent buyer. As I said, a recent buyer is somebody that's transitioned in or transferred in the last 90 days. This is somebody now that's been there 2 years. So why is that important? It's still well below the average stay in years, because maybe you did an introduction to your recent buyers and now they've moved into the new homeowner bucket. So maybe now you want to pick up your marketing frequency. Maybe once, 2, 3 times a year is important. You don't always have to do that shotgun approach, right? Marketing is not getting any less expensive. And we're going to be able to show you how to do micro farms, save some money on marketing, and send more poignant messages to the right people.
Yeah, you're laser focusing your efforts.
Laser focused, exactly.
Love that.
This is your new homeowner. Yeah. So if I continue over here to long-term homeowners, there's 27 homeowners now that have lived there. Long-term homeowner is somebody that's lived there 13+ years. So there's 27 people that have lived in the home or in the farm now for 13+ years. This, for me, if this was my farm, if I was sitting with you, I would tell you this is another area where you need to be focused on, because 27 people have now lived there longer than the average stay in years. And before too long, they're going to be moving into the target farm. So if you don't have a relationship, if they don't know who you are, if they don't know your brand, now is the time to start marketing to these people. And we can specifically call out those people, which I'll show you, and now get those records and market to those people. Homeowner exemption, we thought that was a good idea. It really hasn't gone anywhere. I'll skip over that. And empty nesters. Empty nesters is anybody that's lived there 20+ years. So I'm going to make the assumption here that this is a newer condominium tract, which I think is in Yorba Linda. So there's nobody that's been in there that length of time. But let's say that there was. Empty nester is making the assumption that You've got somebody that might be a little bit older as a homeowner, and maybe the kids have all grown and are gone. Maybe that 4-bedroom home is too big. They're looking for a 2-bedroom. Maybe it's a 2-story. Maybe they'd like a 1-story. So that marketing kind of writes itself to your empty nester group as well.
And obviously, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Eric, but obviously your message to these different groups is drastically different.
Yeah, exactly. A very specific message to a very specific audience. Here, Prop 60, Prop 90 would be timely, but to somebody that recently moved in, probably not so much.
Right.
So you can get real granular. Again, it's small little numbers down here. You can see the average sales price of people that have lived there 2 years. Look at your long-term homeowner, 13 plus years. We're paying $212,000. So you get some historical data there as well. Now, all of this that we've seen so far is at no cost. There is no cost to put as many records in here, name as many farms as you want, get the statistical page. These records are updated every single day. So if somebody transfers in or out, you get notified every single day. You never have to update your farm again. So I bring that to your attention because there are subscription levels, which I'll get into. And if you want to go into a subscription level, I've got a full premium account. So I'm now going to be able to see how many properties are listed in my farm. So there's 3 in there now. It doesn't tell you who that agent is, but if you pull out a micro farm and it's highlighted yellow, it's going to be somebody that's listed. Why do we do that? Because now to help you save money in your marketing, it will remove that listed property from any marketing that you do just to save you that 60, 70 cents that it costs for that postcard or that letter or what have you. So again, we're trying to help you save time and save money. So we can identify any listed properties that are in there. Based on a subscription level, I can also get an equity analysis. So in other words, every week, all 200 or all 112 of my records are going to get an AVM. It's going to run an automated valuation model. So it's going to tell me basically what that market is selling for, what the value of that home is. If there's any loans that we can identify, it's going to determine an approximate equity valuation. So right now, I know there's 1 person with negative equity, and I can see that there's 94 with positive equity. Sometimes this number actually gets pretty high. And if anybody's been selling real estate for at least 10 years, and you remember the short sales,
yes.
They weren't a whole lot of fun, but we all had to do them. To me, this negative equity is a great opportunity because it's what I call a pre-short sale. Again, if you remember a short sale, there was a notice of default filed. Those homeowners were scared. They weren't answering the phone. They weren't answering the door. They weren't checking their mail. There was no way to reach them. This is a homeowner who knows that they possibly are upside down in their home. There's no notice of default filed. So they're very open to emails. They're very open to phone calls. They're not hiding. They may be at this point saying, I possibly need to speak with a real estate expert to find out what my options are. So that's a great lead right there.
Oh, yeah. And Eric, let me stop you real quick. We have a question from one of our agents, Susan
Yes.
Cross. And she asks, do you have the same statistical page for EDDMs?
Yes. So I'll go back real quick.
Cool. Thank you.
And here's an EDDM route right there. So let's use that as an example. I haven't opened it for a couple of days, so it's going to update my statistics right now. There it is.
That was quick.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. So this is a farm based on an EDDM route. It's got a turnover rate of 2.5, extremely low. There's 587 records, and here's the same information. There's my average stay in years, my average sales price, recent buyers, out of state, absentee, everything that you saw. So yes, the answer is yes, and you'll get these statistics. These statistics are updated daily. I get the same valuation as well based on the subscription level. So let's continue with this farm because this is going to be kind of interesting. This is always a concern. Many agents always like to focus on the absentee owner for whatever reason. And let's look at this one just a little bit deeper. I'll get to that. So along with these data points, we also put them in some charts and graphs. So here is sales volume for the last year in this farm and units sold. If you want to go back and do a little historical, I can go back 5 and 10 years, but I'll leave it set for 1 year. So what that tells me is if I put my cursor right here, It says in February of 2020, there was 2.725 million that changed hands. And if I come over here, that was 3 sales. 3 sales, almost 3 million. If I can continue down below here, there doesn't seem to be a lot of investor activity in this EDDM route. We do have a database that we bounce this against, and we can show you who's investing in there. They might need other real estate, expertise from other realtors to find other properties. That's a great marketing source as well. If I continue down here, this is kind of one of the areas that I wanted to show you without going into all of these. So here is, I separated out my owner-occupied percentage versus my absentee. Again, getting really granular with the data to make sure you're the expert. I can see down here that in my farm, 86% of my farm, or 507 records, are owner-occupied, and that turnover rate is 2.39. But now if you were to use this particular EDDM route and say, I'm going to go after the absentee, well, there's 13% of that farm is absentee, but look at the turnover rate of the absentee. It's less than 1% by far. So my question to an agent in this particular EDDM route is to say, why? Maybe there's a better place to go and put your time, your money, and your resources. Maybe there's a different farm that we should look at, and we can analyze that together. So we really start to break this out, not just by total turnover rate, but we separate the owner-occupied and the absentee. Make sense?
Absolutely. No, that's
Okay.
great information, just staring you at the face. Remember, when you are, given great data, you're able to make much better decisions.
So as I mentioned, each of these buckets or these data points are what we call micro farms. So let me come over here, and here's the link right to all of the micro farms out of state. Here's my absentee, my owner occupied. So I can pull out each of those. I'm going to go into the long-term homeowners. I've got 41 records. So if I click on the long-term homeowners link, here are my records. It's showing me the first 10. I can obviously change that view if I want to expand that. And you get all of the same information that you're used to getting from your title company. So there's my owner's name, my situs address, city, state, sale date, use code, right? Everything that you've got. And again, these records are updated every single day for you. Never, ever update a farm again. Now I can drill down. Here's James and Rachel, and looks like they're on Ashford. If I click on their particular name right there, it'll just drill me down into that particular record. So now whatever county provides us, we've loaded in here for you as well. So this is the property information, your acres, sale date back in 2003, assessed value, here's your APN, got some other information. But now what's nice about this is because we know who the owner is, we have the address and the APN, I've got a quick link right here to a full property profile. This is the same property profile that Adam and I would provide through customer service. You've got it in one quick link right there. Here's your property overview, property details, sales and loan information, and your prior transfers. And every document number is a link, and I can open up. So here's a release of mortgage, and I can pull up that particular document. So you've got that at your fingertips. This can also be done off of the Walk-in Farm app as you're standing in front of a homeowner, outdoor knocking when we get back to door knocking, and you can pull up full property profiles and documents right in front of the house.
That is cool. And then Susan asks, are email addresses included in this information?
Yeah, so let's go back. So I won't go into the greater detail of all of this because we can do that if anybody's interested. So let me go back to a complete farm. And you'll start to notice I've got some red check marks here. Phone numbers, it's starting to match up phone numbers and emails. So we're about 45% of your records. New homepage, the company I mentioned, we do this in conjunction with, that tracks phone numbers and emails, can match up about 45% of your records. And it will start to tell you if it matches a phone number. Here we've matched up a phone number and an email because, as I tell every agent, crawl, walk, run. Set up your account, put your data in there. Do not pay for any subscriptions for the first 4 or 5 weeks. We will notify you every time there's a phone number or an email matched. We will notify you of a life event lead, a birth, death, divorce. Those are the real opportunities in here as well. Over time, if you like what you're seeing in there, then come in and start to subscribe to that data and acquire it at your leisure. But I don't ever like to spend anybody's money until they see the true value of it over a period of time, and then come in and acquire that data. And some of the life event leads is what we call premium data. Just real quick, because as I mentioned, we're trying to put you in front of opportunities as soon as they happen. So you can subscribe to NODs, trustee sales, phone numbers, emails. As I mentioned, marriages, births, deaths, divorces. Those are opportunities that, you know, again, your marketing can be timely. Once you know about these opportunities, you can be first to market and get in front of those people. And we can talk more about what those mean, where they come from, and how to market to those. So with that, I've kind of hit my 20-minute mark there. I can continue to go on, but I didn't want to go on any longer than that 20 minutes.
Yeah, you know, Eric, I mean, this is so perfect. And, you know, what we really try to do on these webinars is just, you know, give a good introduction to these things. So I think this is actually perfect. And now the agents, you know, that want to engage with this, they can get a hold of you guys. They can get this set up, and you guys can go a little bit further into detail, right?
Perfect. Love to do it. Yep. Very good. I appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Adam, thank you so much for organizing this. And before we go, I want to bring Bill Seitz back on, and just, you know, Bill, what do you have any takeaways from this particular product?
Yeah, first I just want to thank Adam and Eric for taking the time this morning. This is incredible information for anybody that's serious about doing real estate. This is essential. I mean, you know, my head's kind of spinning on some of these stats, and information is power, and information is what's going to separate you from the next realtor. And providing value, and really being able to, I mean, I love how you can target these turnover rates, and how Eric said, you know, there's certain communities that you just might not want to waste your time with. Right. And even though you may think, oh, this is, I want to, you know, target Turtle Rock, but if the turnover rate is not what it should be to effectively spend your time and money, I'm sure that these guys will help you get into a you know, a neighborhood that maybe you would consider that it makes more sense. And so all this information is just imperative. I mean, it really is incredible.
And we talk so much about, you know, being the expert in your area. This is, you know, a massive component of being an expert and being completely on top of your market and what's happening. That way, when somebody asks a question, you have answers. And just like Eric said, they do have an amazing app feature that's on your phone. And as you're walking the neighborhood, you have this information at your fingertips. So, you know, you can pull up stats, you can pull up really pertinent information, and again, provide value.
Awesome. Yeah, the app is at no cost as well, just FYI.
I love it. And so Marcella asks, Eric, please get a hold of me. And so I'll make sure I put you guys in contact.
Gotcha.
So agents, you know, do take advantage of this. This is a really, really important tool. And again, I just wanted to thank all of you for taking the time every Wednesday to come on these webinars, learn a little bit more, provide more value for your clients. So thank you very much for that. So with that, guys, get out there, make it a productive week and a great week, and looking forward to seeing you all on the webinar next week.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again.
Absolutely, guys. Bye-bye.